Okay, three guys walk into a pub. It's a late, brisk Tuesday night. The first one sits down. You're not going to believe this. It's Paul the Apostle. That's right. He sits down with a thud. He throws his tunic or robes or whatever he's wearing, and he says, "Guys, after all these years, I'm still doing stuff I don't want to do." And I'm like a really disciplined guy. Now, the second person at the table, white haired, glasses, Swiss accent, it's Carl Jung. It's crazy. And he says, "Bro, you're not acting against yourself. There's just a part of you that does want the comfort. You've pushed it out of who you think you are, but it doesn't disappear. It just stops asking permission." There's a third guy at the table, and he chimes in. He's a stout gentleman, long white beard. He says, "Well, the environment you're in is rewarding that part. If the system makes short-term relief easy and long-term outcomes abstract, then the behavior you're describing isn't failure, it's alignment." Paul nods and he says, "Thank you, Walt Whitman." Beard guy says, "Nope, that's not my name." He's like, John Muir?" And he's like, "Guys, my name's Daniel Schmachtenberger. I'm like really smart in the year 2026, okay?" And Young squinting, he says, "Oh, you're German? All right, enough of that silliness. For 2,000 years, we've been talking and circling around this same thing. I do this, I don't want to. You thought that was a joke, and so here's the punchline. Here's the punchline of that little pub joke. If behavior keeps winning, something is rewarding it." And that's what we're going to talk about. Now, let me give you an example. Totally made up, totally hypothetical. Sometimes after a long day at work, I'll stay up past my bedtime and I'll rewatch Wes Anderson movies and just giggle to myself on the couch. Now, again, not real. This is just for argument's sake. Now, in this example, I know the sleep debt. I know tomorrow morning is going to suck because I've gotten an hour less sleep than I typically do. I know my family is going to get this snippy version of me. I know all of it, and I still do it. Now, the standard procedure for most of us when we do something we know we shouldn't is to run this, what I call like a willpower narrative. We say things like, "I'm weak, I'm undisciplined, and I'll like double down tomorrow. I'll try harder tomorrow." Most behavior change works the same way. We treat this unwanted behavior like a bug, like we're trying to override it. But the late night behavior is buying me something. It could be that it's buying me comfort after an unpredictable day. Maybe familiarity after a week of like unknowns and ambiguity. Maybe it's given me a premeditated avoidance of tomorrow. And tomorrow's going to be hard either way, so I might as well buy like one good night right now. Now, once we decide that the behavior is buying us something, we can get specific about what. I believe there's 4 forces that want to keep funding any type of, and we'll say dysfunctional behavior, but we'll just say any behavior that's not exactly what we want. Any given pattern is usually funded by more than one of these. So let's go over them real briefly. Number 1 is what I call secondary gains. The pattern provides something real. In my case, it's what I just described a second ago. Gains happening right there if I do this thing. Now, number 2, there's a relational incentive quite often. Let's say in this totally made up scenario, not real, that it's not just me sitting there alone, but it's me and my wife, and there's a glass of wine, and we're snuggling close. And it's this shared ritual of being off duty as parents for the first time at the same time. That social fund is a very strong force. Number 3, we could say that there's absolutely an environmental design. If aliens came down to this planet and they popped into most of our homes, they would say that the TV is of extreme importance by the way that our home is designed around it. The couch points at the screen. You could take a look at other design elements too. The fact that, our schedules have no slot for anything restorative before 9 p.m. None of this is a willpower problem. That's a design. And then number 4, often what happens is there's this force of asymmetry. There's this true cost of what's happening that's very skewed. Changing feels immediate, it feels concrete, it feels certain. It sucks to go to bed right now. Staying stuck or staying up and watching the movie is delayed, it's diffuse, it's deniable. And so tomorrow's fatigue is tomorrow Spencer's problem. It's not mine. Next week's heart rate variability doesn't have a timestamp on tonight's glass of cab. The nervous system wastes time in a way that always favors the closer number. And so no amount of motivation reliably overcomes that math. What overcomes the math is actually changing the math. Now, to deal with this at a system level, there are 3 moves that you can make. 1, stop treating the behavior as the enemy. Before trying to change it, name what it's been trying to do for you out loud. May sound silly, but saying a sentence like this, hey, part of me is trying to give me comfort after a hard day, is an incredibly powerful sentence. The pattern has a job, and until we've named the job, any replacement that we pick is going to feel worse than the original. Now, something else that we could do is to always look upstream. The moment we're stuck in, the 9 p.m. decision, the second pour, the remote in the hand, we're already downstream. The decision has mostly been made for us by those 4 forces. So we look upstream. What did the hour before look like? What does the room look like? Who else is in it? We don't win the moment in the moment. We win it 2 hours earlier or 2 weeks earlier. Design is cheaper than discipline every time. And then 3, make the cost or the math of staying stuck easy to see. Right now, the cost is really abstract. Future fatigue, future numbers, future regret. The nervous system can't price any of that, so we make it concrete. Who specifically pays tomorrow? Which conversation gets snippy? Which workout gets skipped? Which hour of the afternoon gets spent scrolling instead of thinking? The math changes as soon as the cost of staying the same shows up on time. So back to the pub. I think the words, the beginning of repentance, as Paul mentioned, is the same spirit as what we might say today is redesigning the system. We've been talking about the same thing for a really long time. Now, regardless of what lexicon you use, if the pattern is winning, it's because it's well supported. Hopefully now we can see some of the support structure. We can pull the curtain back, and that's what we're designing against. Now, outside of YouTube, there's a full essay and free prompt to run this on your own pattern that's on Substack. The link's in the description. If that helps you, my work here is done.